Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the A to Jump podcast, a podcast about video games and whatever other nerdy stuff is on our mind. As always, I'm Justin of Justin Games. I'm joined by the Gooba half of Gooba and Jetpack, aka Jacob. Hello, Jacob. We're back. I think this is the quickest turnaround for a pod that we've ever had.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
I mean, what was the last recording like?
Last
Week or
Wednesday,
something?
last Wednesday, I think. So
I think this is the only time of year that we actually do pick it up, because I think last year was the same. We
probably
recorded before the Game Awards, and then the following week or something, we recorded again to talk about the Game Awards. So,
and here we are again. We talked about the Game Awards, and now we're trying to talk about after the Game Awards.
So, subscribe for consistent podcasting 2 weeks out of the year.
Yeah, baby. The other 50, sorry.
Good luck.
Go someplace else, I guess. Well, all right. We don't want to waste too much time. This will probably be a little bit shorter of an episode. I do have a hard stop in about an hour and a half. So let's dive right in. The Game Awards.
All right.
The Game Awards were last Thursday, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Give me your thoughts in like 2 words or less.
Commercials.
I was gonna say kind of boring.
Yeah, I'd give it that.
If you could garner a guess, and I'm banking that you don't know this, how many years has Geoff Keighley been doing the Game Awards?
I feel like I've heard somewhere along the road that it's been like since the mid 90s or something.
So his Game Awards thing has only been in since like 2014. But he did like the Spike Awards back at Spike TV or something like that. But okay, it's been at least 10 years, but even longer than that, and no one has figured out how to make this fun or even entertaining. Because I just watched it on like my TV in my living room, and I got kind of bored. Like, this is supposed to be an award show, right? It's called the Game Awards, and the awards part of it was so minimal and rushed, and like it seemed like that took a back seat to the commercials or the announcements, which there were some pretty good announcements that we'll dive into, but it's not what I tuned in for. It felt like a winter E3 or a summer game fest, a winter game fest is things I've been kind of hearing around other podcasts and stuff. But yeah, it felt weird because I was listening to the Min-Max Show podcast where Jacob Geller is on that, and his like favorite game, one of his favorite games of the year was Armored Core 6. And he was really rooting for that, and like he found out that he missed it winning best action game or something like that because it was just Geoff Keighley on stage saying, and the winner is Armored Core 6. Now on to best indie or something like that. It's like, what was that about? That was so strange.
It was really frustrating to watch because it was like, I don't know the exact number here, but I would guess at least 2/3 of the awards were handed out that way.
Yeah. No trophy, no presentation, no nothing.
Like they did all I was fine with this. They did all the esports awards in the pre-show.
Okay. I noticed
they did it that way where Sydney Goodman just read off the winners.
That's fine.
And that's fine.
No one cares about them. I'm sorry, they don't.
I don't know who's really excited for that besides the people who are nominated. So congratulations to you people.
Yeah.
But like at least 2/3 of the awards were handed out just like or Geoff reading off a list.
Yep.
And I was like, that's so like it's so diminishing to the people who put, years of their life into this thing.
Yeah. And
to win,
I don't know,
but
I don't know if it was this consistent, but I noticed it with Baldur's Gate 3 and I noticed it with Tears of the Kingdom. They both won in like 2 categories. So they were only brought up on stage for one of those. Obviously Baldur's Gate 3 got Game of the Year, so they got to go up on stage for that, but still only got like 15 seconds to talk and thank an entire studio of people. And then same with Tears of the Kingdom. I think they won Best Action Adventure or something. And that was just called off. Or I can't remember. I can't remember exactly where they lined up. But maybe he only let people go up on stage once. But again, I don't think that's very consistent because Best Score and Music was Final Fantasy 16. And that was just read off by Geoff. Like,
yeah,
you could have made an entire like stage performance out of who won Best Score. Like that would have been so cool because they did it like for the Game of the Year announcement that they have an entire orchestra that played like some songs from each game nominated for the Game of the Year. Why couldn't they do something cool like that for score and music?
I don't know.
If like you said it perfectly, diminishing. It was very diminishing.
Yeah, and that was another thing that, I mean, if you've been on Twitter at all in the last week or so, this is the sentiment. The thing that's being said by everybody is the limit that they had on people for their speeches was really frustrating because you're cutting off people who have English as a second language or have a translator with them.
Yep.
You're cutting off the I don't know if he's the director of Larian or whatever, but the guy,
it's full suit of armor.
that won when they won Game of the Year, that had the full suit of armor on. He's talking about like people on their team that died,
and Geoff Keighley's like, come on.
Yeah, and it's Game of the Year. It's not like some random category in the middle of the show. It's Game of the Year, and they're putting up, please wrap it up on a screen.
Yeah, and it was.
And I'm like,
it was still 3 hours long. I don't think that includes the pre-show. It's like, number one, I don't want to sit for 3 hours and watch that. Like, cut it down to at least, or at most 2, and let people talk. And it was just, it just felt very weird. It just felt like a Winter Games Fest. Like, some of those announcements, I don't know, like if we made this into 2 events where, you've got your Winter Game Fest and you've got your awards ceremony, like if you cut all those things, you could get this award show down to an hour and a half, But I don't know what the answer is. I guess I'm not the one getting paid to do it, but figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so disappointing because, we joked about it last time, how there's been something has happened at the last few events that Geoff Keighley's done, and how we feel bad for him. We want something, we want this one to go smoothly. And then for the thing that happened to kind of be the entire show was just, it felt off.
Yeah.
Like, it's frustrating. And, one thing, I don't know where they would fit this into a game show or into an award show, but it feels like it should have been necessary for someone to point out the thousands of people who were laid off in the game industry this year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's something that Geoff would feel comfortable doing in like a celebration of the gaming industry, but I feel like someone should at least acknowledge, like, you know, there's a lot of hardworking people who might have games here that no longer have a job,
Yeah.
and that sucks. Like, I don't I don't know. I know it would have brought the mood down a little bit, but it was also something that everybody already knew, and I think it would have been nice to hear someone say, like, "Hey, all of the people out here who uh, aren't at the show for those reasons, like, we see you and we appreciate you."
Yeah, and me and you, we joke, and we jokingly put Geoff Keighley on this
Hmm.
pedestal that he's just some awesome dude. But let's not forget,
Yeah.
he is probably about as corporate as it gets. So he's
Yeah.
got the only way he makes money off these things is sponsorships and probably like the trailers, right? You think game
Hmm.
studios pay him to put trailers on his shows? Probably. I don't know how that works. So he's probably trying not to make any enemies, and he
Hmm.
probably made a few. Um I didn't listen to Chris Judge's speech last year, but there's like
Hmm.
multiple references to it that it was like almost 10 minutes long, and like Keeley probably wanted to get away from that. And if I know Chris Judge, I think it was probably some humanitarian thing. Do you know what he talked about last year?
It was long. It was like 8 minutes, and he talked about, God, it's hard to even remember at this point. I know he referenced like something that his mother told him when he was growing up,
Oh,
and like he brought that into like a, a lesson that he learned that he took with him into his career. And like, it was definitely a little bit drawn out. I think it was all meaningful to him.
sure.
Um, and I'm sure that people took something from it, but the ripple effect that had on this year's show
I
is,
guess. I don't know.
you yeah.
But okay, maybe I'm out on a limb there. Maybe that had nothing to do with it at all. But
I
yeah,
think it definitely did
but
in some way.
yeah, Geoff Keighley's just, I don't know. He isn't going to maybe draw attention to that
Hmm.
thousands of people are out of a job because these huge billionaire companies hired too many people, and now they
Yeah.
had to lay them all off.
Hmm.
But yeah. Also, Cyberpunk 2077 is not an ongoing game.
Yeah.
How did
That
that? How
was
was that even nominated,
yeah, I don't
let alone win?
that was frustrating. Like, there's definitely some, I feel like most of the awards, uh or most of the games that won, I was kind of like, okay, like, even
Sure.
if I didn't personally choose it, I was like, I can see that.
Yeah. Right.
That was one I was like, that's not, no,
That's not even a
that's incorrect.
thing.
I
So
think they
all you
were
have to do
trying.
is release an expansion, and you're an ongoing game. That's dumb.
All right.
That's you just open that up to a whole lot of people. Because
So is God of War going to be in that category?
yeah, that was
Because
free
they
though.
just put out an expansion
That was free though, Jacob. Don't forget
that's
that.
ongoing. That's new content.
Where we look at Apex Legends, who's been around since 2019 ish.
Something like that.
Final Fantasy 14's been around since 2013. Fortnite's probably around there. Genshin Impact, that hasn't been around that long, but still, they they have released far more things than Cyberpunk has
Yeah.
in the past few years. Like, that was dumb. I don't see how that made any sense at all.
Yeah. And, credit to Cyberpunk. They turned things around this year. I hear that this DLC is great. And if there was an award for like best comeback, then sure,
Yeah,
give it to them. That's not ongoing.
that's
And
not
you're
that's not ongoing. That's
at
stupid.
that point, you are actively taking away an award from companies who do put out consistent new content all year long
Yep,
for several years.
yep. Couldn't agree more. Um, I don't give a crap about celebrities Matthew McConaughey, Jordan Peele. Uh, who else came out? Who was the guy that plays Captain America now?
Um, oh,
I
what's
can't
his
remember
name?
his name, but he was out there.
Anthony
Anthony
Mackie.
Mackie, perfect. He was out there. Uh, Timothee Chalamet. Why is he
Dude,
presenting Game of the Year? What?
oh my God, I have so many thoughts about this. So, first of all, I will say one thing that was kind of funny was Jeff announced him as his old
Oh,
YouTube
yeah,
username
yeah,
because I guess when he was like 13, he used to put up modded controller videos. Um, I highly doubt that he is still that into gaming, if at all.
yeah.
There was this complete tangent, but I saw an interview with him that like IGN did, just like a short on Instagram or
Mhm.
whatever, where they asked him what his game of the year was, and he said Spider-Man 2, and they were like, "Oh, what did you love about it?" And he was just like, there was a pause, and he was like, "Well, I don't want to give anything away." But it was just really good, and I was
Oh,
like, "You didn't play it.
yep.
Like you did not play it. You are a, you know,
Fake gamer boy.
very famous celebrity that has a past with video games, and they wanted to capitalize on that."
Yep.
Um,
I don't know if Jeff or whoever on his team thinks celebrity appearances are the gateway to getting more fans or what, because I disagree. Like,
mhm.
I don't think getting somebody who's not like not in the gamer space is gonna see Matthew McConaughey on stage and be like, oh my God, he's in this game. I gotta go get a PS5 now. I gotta be able to play this new Matthew McConaughey game. I guarantee not one person says that.
Nope.
Or, oh my God, it's Timothée Chalamet. Like, I didn't know he was making an appearance. Like, I better watch the Game Awards next year. No, that's not happening. Like, I don't understand what the goal is. And then Jordan Peele was able to speak longer than all the other Game Award winners combined.
Mhm.
That's might be exaggerating a little bit. But he stood up there and said a lot of words and said nothing.
Yeah.
Just like he's collaborating on Hideo Kojima's new game, which again I don't care about. I
Yeah.
Hideo Kojima has made Death Stranding, right?
Mhm.
That came out in 2019.
2019, I think.
What has he made anything since? And what did he make before that? Like I understand he's a very famous game maker, but has he done much lately?
I I don't want to. I'm not an expert on it, so I don't want to say like definitively no. I know that he's known for Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah,
That's his
he doesn't even
That's
work for that company anymore, so he's not
yeah.
making a game like that again.
And he made PT. He was gonna make the new Silent Hills until Konami cut him off.
Okay, but
But
still, PT was like an hour long demo. Like
mhm.
again, it's just weird that he's thrown up on this pedestal, and I don't think Death Stranding was that popular of a game.
No, like I think that people see him as like a visionary. Like people think of like he's very, you know, his ideas are very out there. So it's interesting to see what he puts out, but I don't know if it's necessarily good. Like I've never played Metal Gear besides a little bit of Metal Gear 5,
Right.
so I can't really speak to that. I've heard Death Stranding is kind of a slog, and
And it's
outside of some of the actors, like it's not the story's a bit weird.
yeah, it's just weird. Like I didn't know being weird made you a visionary, you know?
Yeah. And I like Jordan Peele. Like I haven't seen all of his movies, but I know, most people really like them, and I am interested to see what this game is. It definitely seems like it's going to be a your usual Kojima like weirdness, but you don't need to take up like 15 minutes
For real.
of this, which is a pretty substantial amount of this award show,
Yep.
to talk about a game that literally had just actors in mocap suits saying the same line.
Yeah.
And then talking about it for 10 minutes.
like,
It just...
I'm sorry, it's 2023. Your mocap isn't impressive anymore. Like, we get all games have good graphics now. It's like that's not that's not a determining factor if your game has good graphics.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we got a title called the OD. So I don't know what I'm missing. Apparently Geoff Keighley just absolutely loves Hideo Kojima. And then Jordan Peele's up there saying that this game will change video games forever, or they said the same thing about Death Stranding, that it was the new Strand genre. It's gonna be the new genre of video games. Like, dude, it was just a video game. Like, I'm missing it. I don't understand.
I don't know. That was frustrating, and it upsets me to think about. One thing that I don't understand is, well, I feel the tradition used to be that the previous year's game of the year winner,
That's what I thought too,
handed out the award to the next one. Maybe because it was Miyazaki. I don't know if he can, if he speaks English or not, if they wanted to do it with a translator. Maybe that was part of it.
Maybe.
But why Timothee Chalamet? Like,
I don't
Alana
know.
Pierce put out a video recently that I she said something that I could not agree with more. And it's that there are people in the gaming industry who we as gamers find infinitely cooler than Timothee Chalamet,
Alana Pierce.
Matthew McConaughey.
Put Alana Pierce up there to present Game of the Year. People would be more excited to see Alana Pierce than Timothee Chalamet.
If it has to be someone like huge but related to the gaming world, put fucking Markiplier up there.
Yeah.
Put like Jacksepticeye. I know you don't really know him,
I don't
but
watch
he's
either of those dudes.
huge on YouTube. Or put like, a famous video game actor. Put Troy Baker.
Or Roger Clark, and have him do his Arthur Morgan voice, and the whole world will melt. Keanu Reeves.
Mark Hamill would be fantastic.
Yeah, Mark Hamill.
And he is in video games too. Like, I don't know. I'm just
Timothee Chalamet, man. He's in it.
And he just, I just think back to like when Larian's giving their speech, and he's just in the background, kind of like,
where am I?
Well, I can't wait till I get out of here.
Yeah, I'm getting $7,000 for this. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
just
any other quick thoughts?
Just
I had another one. Hang on, let me find it. Best sim/strategy game. Pikmin 4. Come on. I didn't play Pikmin 4. Maybe it is more simmy and strategic than I thought, but whatever.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the list of winners here, because I'm
looking at IGN's article.
Yeah, like most other things sort of made sense to me.
Oh, Last of Us won Best Adaptation, which would be a crime if it didn't.
Yeah. I would have a lot more things to say about the Game Awards if that was not the case.
Who's voting for this shit?
And at one point, I was like, or whenever Anthony Mackie came up on stage, for some reason, like either I wasn't paying attention or I misheard, and I thought he was presenting the best adaptation. I was like, isn't he nominated for one?
Oh,
like,
yeah, true. He is.
But no, that's,
and
that
Twisted Metal is renewed for season 2. I know you were really you were waiting for that.
Yeah,
on Peacock.
That was
streaming on Peacock.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's our little bitchy session. Unless you've got anything else to say.
I did want to get your thoughts on Alan Wake 2 winning narrative game of the year.
Define narrative. Like if your narrative, if a best narrative is the one that just confuses the hell out of you for 30 hours, done. Yeah, that was the best narrative I've ever read or seen.
I think it's kind of the same thing as like for movie award shows. A lot of the time the, best picture and stuff like that are movies that I haven't even heard of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they're artistic or they, speak a very ambiguous message.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm just too dumb to get it.
That's my thing too. Yeah. Like I must just be stupid because I can't follow any of this.
Yeah. Like, but I'm always asking, like, was it an engaging narrative? Did people engage with Alan Wake 2 like because they understood it, or was it just like visually interesting?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people like it. I'm not one of them, but I feel like I experienced better narrative in like the 3 hours of Baldur's Gate 3 that I played than I watched the 20-30 hours of Alan Wake 2 that I watched.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever.
Yeah,
I'm just stupid.
But me too, by the way. Yeah. Well, congrats to Baldur's Gate 3 for Game of the Year.
You deserve it.
Congrats.
I didn't see it coming, honestly. I thought for sure Tears of the Kingdom would win.
I kind of felt like Baldur's Gate might take it.
That's really cool.
Just in the last, few weeks leading up to the awards, I feel like every thing I read and every like person I listened to talk about it was like, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 for sure. I was like, oh, okay.
That's cool.
Like,
good for them.
Yeah. And I do want to congratulate Neil Newbon for Performance of the Year. I really like him.
Asterion.
Yeah. I have experienced so little of that game and Asterion in general, but he just seems like such a nice guy.
Yeah.
And I really liked his speech that they cut off with the music again.
I must have tuned out. I don't remember it.
Yeah. He just said, he got emotional and basically just said, like, for anyone who maybe felt like they were seen or they were represented.
Oh, yes.
In this game, like, we see you.
I was like,
I like that.
Good for you.
That made me really happy.
Good for you. I like him too now. You're right.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move on to maybe some announcements. I have a list.
Yeah,
I have a list here.
Okay.
I don't know if you have one at all.
I'm pulling up. I had something up and then I lost it.
Okay. Well, I'll start.
You know how that is.
Yeah, it happens. I'm just gonna start with the big one. Monster Hunter Wilds. It was like the one more thing of the Game Awards, and we got just a little trailer nothing too definitive, but like right from the get-go you could tell it was Monster Hunter, just the art style and the music, and also your hunter riding what looks like a flying velociraptor. Like, if that's not the coolest thing in the world, I don't know what it is. So yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds, the new, I think it's crap, it's got to be 7 Monster Hunter 7. Oh god, but whatever. It's the newest installment in the Monster Hunter series. I have, in the past few years, really loved Monster Hunter. So we're not getting, it said 2025 for a release window. Said we'll get some more information next year. I forget when, like in the summer, I think. A little bit more detail, but I really enjoy Monster Hunter. Since that trailer came out, I had to dive back into Monster Hunter World. Downloaded on my PS5. Started a brand new character and just really dove in over the weekend and stuff like that. And it still holds up. That game came out in 2018. It's still Monster Hunter is such a weird type of game. It's so different from everything, but its systems work so well that it's just infinite fun to play. So I want to try and play that as much as I can. I never beat World. I beat Rise, but rolling credits on that game is not, that doesn't mean you beat it by any means. Like, there's infinite amount of gameplay there. So that's been a lot of fun getting back into that. I'm very excited to learn more about Monster Hunter Wilds. Raptors are cool. Flying makes them even cooler. So that's about my thoughts. Raptors are cool.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
Jacob, is there a world where you and me play Monster Hunter together, and I can show you the ropes?
I've always been intrigued by it. I don't know what has kept me away from it. I think just, the backlog of games that I already have.
So true.
Is probably part of it. But it does look cool. I definitely would be interested in checking it out.
I think it's very unique in the way that, so there's 14 different weapon types in the game.
Oh, wow.
And each one of them is insanely different than the other. They each have their own mechanics, their own whatever word I can't think of. But every single one is different. Like, I like to use the dual blades, and you can get completely used to that weapon to where, it's totally easy. It's just like playing any other game that has, one combat style. Whereas this one, you get used to one weapon, you can switch to a different one, and it can be completely different. Like, circle and triangle are still attack, but the mechanics of the weapon function completely differently. So I could see why for a newcomer it might be difficult to get into, but I think if you were committed enough, and tried hard, you would end up liking this game a lot.
Okay.
It's not, I don't feel like it's a game you could be like, I'll give it a shot, and if I don't like it, I'll just stop. Which sounds weird to say, but it's like, I feel like that's when you would just bounce off. But if you're like, I'm ready, I really want to try to learn how to play this game, you can do it that way.
Okay. Yeah, I think probably the next few months is probably would be the best time for me, because I'm not going to be traveling as much.
Yeah,
so
true.
I'd definitely be down.
I would love to show you the ropes. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was my number one, my most exciting one. Do you have one you want to shout out?
Definitely God of War DLC,
which is out now, right?
It is out. I've played it.
Oh, well, fill us in.
It's So it's a roguelite mode that takes place at the end of God of War Ragnarok.
Okay.
So it prefaces before you even start, like, there are narrative elements to it. So it says, like, right away, finish the original game before you jump into this, or else you're going to be confused.
Okay.
Um, but it's Kratos going into Valhalla, where he has to basically make it through a series of combat trials. And it's exactly like any other roguelike game. Like, you start off with, very minimal stats, and you have all your all your weapons. So excuse me. You have your axe, the blades, your spear, like all of your skills are maxed out, but all of your stats are very low. And you can build up points to earn permanent upgrades to your skills. But then as you go through each run, you can pick different, like, special abilities. Like, you make it through a room, and you get to a chest, and it lets you pick, like, oh, you can do this special ability for your spear or this one for your blades. And then as you go on a little more, you can pick between different doors that have symbols on them. One is for, like, a weapon upgrade, one is for, like, health refill or something like that. And you just, pick and choose which way you want to go. The enemy types are all random, so you never know what you're getting into in the next room. And with each run, you can pick a different type of shield or a different like, way to use your rage meter. Like, there's different mechanics for that. But it's all been really fun.
Good.
Like, when I heard, so there was part of me that was a little bit skeptical when I saw that it was just mostly a combat thing. Like, it was going to be something that I try for a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. But there's actually, like, substantial story bits to it. So, like, there's cutscenes, there's, full voice acting from most of the cast. And, like, you're playing, like, it's Kratos by himself, but he has Mimir with him. And so they have conversations, and you kind of get into Mimir's backstory a little bit. And I don't know. It's, for being a free DLC that released 2 days after being announced, like, I could not be more happy with it.
And wasn't leaked. I think that's really cool too. Like, there was no one saw this coming.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Which there was, like, a day or two before the Game Awards, somebody did leak, or pretended to leak, God of War DLC, but it was not this at all. It was basically, the way that they described it was that it was going to be like a standalone Atreus section.
Okay.
Which you do play as Atreus by himself in the game, in God of War Ragnarok, a little bit,
right.
But it was kind of building it up to be like a standalone DLC with just Atreus on his own journey. Which I'm kind of glad that they didn't go that route, because personally that part of the game was probably the least enjoyable for me.
Sure.
Like,
I wonder if game companies, like, spread little lies to different like outlets or whoever, and just see what leaks, so that they know, like, who blabbed. Like, I think Tyrion Lannister did that in, like, season 2 Game of Thrones.
He did.
Yeah. He lied to the spider and Littlefinger just to see who. Very Tyrion of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad I'm glad it's enjoyable. The name isn't good.
Valhalla.
Yeah, Ragnarok, Valhalla.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense.
it's
Those are just the two Nordic words that everybody knows, so they just put it down there.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's more to, why the place that you're going into is Valhalla. Because it's what they, that's what they call it in the game. Like, you're going to Valhalla to complete these trials. I don't really know what the purpose is yet.
And sorry, Assassin's Creed Valhalla's DLC, one of them,
Yeah.
Dawn of Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It's like, there are more Norse words. You can find other stuff.
And Santa Monica, I know you can do it. There's been proof that you're very well versed in Nordic lore. You can find another way to describe this place.
Whatever.
That's gonna get confusing, but
okay. Light No Fire was the next one I saw. Now, this is from Hello Games. You might recognize them from crap. What's the name of their other game?
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky, which has a very troubled history, but however has redeemed themselves over and over. I think I haven't played No Man's Sky since it first came out, but it seems pretty cool, honestly. But Light No Fire, that was another weird part of the Game Awards, is when Sean Murray came on stage to talk about this, and it was like they told him about this interview 30 seconds before he went on stage, and he was like, "Sean, you got to get up there," and he's like, "What?" And I mean, I wouldn't do any better. I'm not saying I would do any better than Sean Murray did, but he was so confused. He stumbled over his words. Geoff Keighley's like, "Well, do you have a trailer for us to show?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, Geoff, you already know that. Why are you confusing him more? That was weird. But anyway, so this is billed as a procedural Earth, fantasy, procedural fantasy Earth with dragons and stuff. I like Sean Murray said something like, normal video game mountains aren't like normal Earth mountains. And we're like, yes, Sean, you're correct. But he's like, he wanted mountains that would take 3 days to scale. I don't know, but it just looked kind of cool. The trailer was well done. It did look like, just a fantasy world that would be fun to explore. So it's a maybe. It just looked cool. It was a good trailer.
Yeah. I saw something funny on Twitter after that announcement, and it was something along the lines of, people see Sean Murray walk out on stage, they're like, "Oh no, Sean, don't overpromise."
Yep.
And he was like, "I created Earth." And
yep.
Sean Murray, his actual Twitter responded to that and just said, "Fuck." I was like,
that's awesome. Good on Sean Murray.
Yeah.
Good on Sean Murray.
Yeah. That was really funny.
Yeah, that is genuinely hilarious.
Yeah.
But I created Earth. That does look kind of cool. That does look cool. All right, do you have another one?
I'm excited to see more on that.
Agreed.
One that I think I've mentioned before that got a release date is Rise of the Ronin.
Okay, I saw that.
It's like a samurai game. Looks very cool. It's from Team Ninja, who I think does the Neo games.
Correct, yeah.
If I remember right. Yep. But yeah, that one looks interesting. I'm excited to see what comes out of that.
Real quick, Jake, did you play Ghost of Tsushima? Tsushima?
I have played it. I have not beat it.
Okay.
Maybe a few hours in at this point, I would say.
Gotcha. All right. What was the release date on that? Did it say?
It was March
Oh
2024.
wow, so that's very soon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we look forward to your thoughts on that.
Yeah,
You better play it.
I'm sure I'll have
This is
some.
like the third time you brought it up. You better play it.
I'll play it.
Okay, good. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We got another trailer and a theme song, I guess, by Uematsu, who's done like the most famous Final Fantasy songs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool. The trailer showed a lot, and like presumably like I think it showed like the very end of the game. If you know, you know. If you watch that trailer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, I don't know. It's gonna be cool. I'm excited. I can't wait to get that into my hands. February, I think, end of February. So I need to get on replaying Remake, so I can be caught up for that. I would like to get the platinum for that. I'm getting more obsessed with getting platinums.
Yeah, I think I kind of feel the same way. Like I've been getting into the habit lately of rather than wanting to play a bunch of different things,
Mm-hmm.
I want to like try and complete one game.
Yes.
Like I don't. That could be because I don't have the attention span.
Yes.
Or well, I can't commit to learning another game's mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
So I just say like, all right, well, I know how to play this, so I'll just keep playing that. But yeah, I definitely am starting to feel that way too a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's like a sense of accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't gotten any closer on Horizon's Platinum either, but
Yeah,
Monster Hunter, does it.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's end of February. Nothing really new, I think. I'm excited for new players to play this one. I think this is gonna be the big one that gets people talking.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, right? You don't know the big thing.
I might.
Okay, well,
I've heard like
if you don't know the big
YouTube videos and stuff.
If you don't already know what I'm talking about, you don't know. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. That's all I've got to say about Rebirth. Nothing too exciting, just fun to see some more.
Mm-hmm.
What's your next one? Anything?
Honestly, this just speaks again to how much time went to just trailers. This list is so long.
It really is.
One that was kind of cool, I wish we could have seen some gameplay on it, was Marvel's Blade.
Ooh, yes. Made by Arcane.
By Arcane, which doesn't have the best. I mean, they have a pretty good track record.
Right.
Dishonored was good. People liked Deathloop. I personally didn't.
I think it's there's two Arcane studios, and I don't know, they're probably not super independent from each other.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the one that made Deathloop, not the one that made that bad game this year.
Oh, Redfall?
Yeah. Arcane Austin is the one that made Redfall. Arcane Leon is the one that made Deathloop, and they're the ones that are working on this.
Okay.
So I'd be kind of excited to see how Arcane can put their twist on a superhero game.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe that might be one I like, because I like Dishonored. I think I would like Deathloop if I played it.
Mm-hmm.
What other games did they work on that I liked? I can't really remember what else they did. They did Prey. I think I played Prey like when it came out way back in the day. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that's going to be the one to look forward to, just to see what else they've got. Like how are they making this an Arcane game, not just a superhero game?
Yeah, I'd be interested to see, like, first of all, when I think of Marvel in front of a video game, I automatically start thinking about like Spider-Man
Mhm.
and Insomniac, which, you know, like third person like beat 'em up games essentially. I'm interested to see if they continue with like first person, more like stealth combat
Yeah.
style games, or what they're gonna do with this one. But I think it's a cool for Arcane to make this. I think it's a cool way to kind of differentiate uh, this from the other superhero games that we know, which are all pretty much like the third person kind of beat 'em up games.
Yeah. I was just looking up Arcane. Okay. Because Prey came out in 2017 and that was released under Bethesda. And it looks like
So I think
their parent organization is ZeniMax, which is also Bethesda's parent company. What were you gonna say?
so. I think Arcane, or I think Bethesda owns Arcane, or
Yeah,
they're
I'm
like.
learning. Arcane Studios and published by Bethesda Softworks. Okay, I kind of didn't know that. So yeah, I did. I kind of did and kind of didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So Redfall was a Bethesda game.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
Arcane,
think.
developed by Arcane Austin and published by Bethesda Softworks. Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just looking through their Wikipedia here. Looks like Dishonored 2 was the first game that Arcane Leon developed separately.
Okay.
Um, Arcane Austin did Prey.
All right.
Arcane Leon did Dishonored Death of the Outsider.
Mm-hmm.
Arcane Leon also did the Wolfenstein, the two Wolfenstein games that they did,
I didn't know Arcane made
which
those.
were not very good apparently. I know Youngblood got was very negatively received.
Well.
Um, Leon did Deathloop. Austin did Redfall. Okay,
Huh.
so
Yeah, that's weird. I like knew that but didn't know that, you know? That
mhm.
makes total sense.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. To learning more. That should
Mhm.
be an interesting game. Okay, I guess it's my turn then.
Mhm.
No Rest for the Wicked. This was from the studio that made Ori,
Mhm.
and the Blind Forest and something like that. Moon Studios. I think that's a new studio. They just made this. I could be wrong, but kind of very fantasy. There's kings and knights and stuff like that. Looks kind of like an isometric camera where you're just moving through an environment, maybe
Mhm.
like a Diablo esque. Uh, but yeah, it looked really interesting. Again, just good trailers. Like you want to get me interested, just make a really cool trailer with a cool song or
Mhm.
something. But yeah, not much details. I don't even know if there was a release date for it, but yeah, the trailer's really good. It just looks cool, so I will definitely be looking forward to seeing more out of that too.
Mhm. Yeah, no release date. It says it comes to PC in early access Q1 2024.
All right,
So,
maybe
not too far
I
off.
might keep my eye out on that one.
Yeah. Um and I looked it up. So Moon Studios, they're not new. They've been around since like 2010,
Oh
but the
well,
only
geez.
games they've released were Ori 1 and 2.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, do you have another one?
There's so many on this list. Um God, it's to the point where I don't even remember most of these.
Yeah, because I was texting you after I'd finished. had to wait a couple days to finish it up,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, I'm sure you can guess what I was so excited for. I'm like, honestly, there's so much crap I don't even remember what I saw. Like a God of War DLC. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Well, let's see. I've got one more, and I think this is the pre-show technically, but
Okay.
Metaphor Re Fantazio Tagio. I've talked about this before. This is the new game from the people that made Persona
Mm-hmm.
3, 4, and 5. A little. This trailer had some new information in it. It looks like it's like a combination of uh, action combat and turn-based combat. Because on one frame, you're swinging swords at enemies in the environment, and then like in the next frame, you're attacking an enemy and switching to a turn-based combat role. So it'll be
Mm-hmm.
interesting to see how they blend those together. Um, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a cool. Whereas Persona is a very modern setting, this has a more fantasy setting. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be really cool just to kind of bring that Persona theme and charm to a fantasy world. I think it'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, crap, I don't remember if there was a release date for that. No, nothing
Okay.
yet. Probably 2025 would be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
yeah, that's gonna be fun. I like that one.
Yeah. Yeah. The uh only other thing, I mean, I'm literally going through the list right now because I don't remember anything. The only other one that I don't even remember if they revealed anything new in this trailer or if it was just a hype builder, but Banishers, Ghost of New Eden.
Okay.
Um, that's the one. It looks like it's um,
Oh yes, yes,
husband and wife,
yes.
and they like banish ghosts, but one of them is dead. So they're like trying to bring her back or something. I really don't fully know even what it is.
Yeah,
Um,
this looked really cool.
it looks really interesting. It was described as an action RPG, so
Okay,
that could
yeah.
be,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know exactly what that
Which,
means.
yeah, apparently it's only $50, which
Yeah?
is not a full. I mean, that's good. I'm glad it's not like a $70 game, but I'm curious what like the difference is.
Yeah. Man, that comes out February 13th.
Yeah.
That's right before Final Fantasy 7. That's a tough release.
Mm-hmm.
February 29th, so I guess a couple weeks.
Yeah. It's one of those that I see it and I'm like, it looks cool to me. But I feel like it's not gonna get that much recognition.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
and like I think it's one that people are gonna be like, oh, that's cool. Like, but it's gonna get overshadowed by bigger games.
Yeah, the first few months is kind of stacked for next year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull that up really quick. Do do do. So in January, um, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. That's gonna be a big one. That's the follow up to Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are gonna want that. Persona 3 Reload, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League is February. Both of those. Skull and Bones. That's finally coming out.
Mm-hmm.
A new Destiny expansion. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Yeah, oof. Banishers isn't even on this list.
Yeah. Oh yeah, or well, I don't know. I might be looking at. I'm on Polygon.
I'm on
That's,
GameSpot. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's
Banishers. Sorry, Banishers. It does look good. I hope one of us can play it.
I probably will. I'm looking right now, and the only other games that I see in the first few months that I'm intrigued by, obviously Last of Us Remastered
Oh,
comes
yeah.
out January 19th.
Yep, you're
so
gonna have to play that.
I have to.
It's not a
We're
choice.
legally required. I think I'd go to jail if I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, before other than that, that's the only game that comes out before that one that I'm really that interested in.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I'll give that one a try.
Okay. Well, I hope you do.
Well, yeah, we'll discuss.
We shall discuss. Maybe
how it is.
Maybe I'll watch some on YouTube if I don't get to play it right away either.
Okay. Well, that's about it for me from the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Again, just too much to even remember.
Yeah.
What all was shown.
I would like them to balance a little more. Like we didn't need, like No Man's Sky had I don't know, probably a 2-minute ad like to show how far they've come from making a shitty game to turning it good.
Yeah.
Like we don't need that. We don't need Jordan Peele to talk forever. Like cut back some of the trailers or whatever weird things you've got and let the developers talk some more. Like,
yeah,
that's what I'm here for. Maybe not everybody's there for that, but maybe people are only there for Timothee Chalamet. I don't really know. Somehow I doubt it.
I mean, I didn't even know he was going to be there.
Me neither.
One quick tangent on Timothee Chalamet again.
Yes, let's go again.
So last night, for whatever reason, I just I go back to my roots a little bit, and I just get the urge to play some Call of Duty multiplayer.
Okay.
I will not buy Modern Warfare 3. I refuse.
Okay.
But there is a free trial right now, basically, for not the whole multiplayer, but like a few modes of it. I was like, all right, you know what? Whatever. Like, I still have Modern Warfare 2 installed on my system, and apparently you can just go right through that to play it. So I was like, all right, I'll hop on Modern Warfare 3 for a little bit, check it out. It's fine. It's Call of Duty. The thing that I wanted to mention, though, is there is apparently a Dune DLC pack.
This is where it comes back to Timothee Chalamet.
And there are so many people, like way more people than I would have ever thought, playing as the Timothee Chalamet skin. From Dune?
Did you even like that movie?
I didn't even watch it.
I fell asleep.
I started watching it on a plane, got through like 10 minutes, and I was like, I am bored. I need something else.
I don't know. Maybe I need to try it again, but I did not care at all about that movie.
Yeah. But it was just so weird and funny to be playing Call of Duty and all these people running around as Timothee Chalamet.
That is pretty funny.
It started getting to the point Jetpack was sitting next to me, and when I would die, I'd be like, fucking Timmy Chalamet.
Got me again. Tim.
Damn it, Tim.
Timmy.
So yeah, that was my Timothee Chalamet rant.
That's hilarious, honestly.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I played another game. I played the finals. Have you seen that one?
That sounds
It's free to play. It's
familiar.
free to play. It is a 3v3v3 with like fully destructible environment, I think is like the sell behind it.
Okay.
So I tried it, like it's fine. I haven't played a first person shooter in forever. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
I'll just try it. It's free, whatever. I got good internet. I can download it fast. I'll
Mm-hmm.
try it. I don't know if I've gotten too old or what, but I don't understand these very specific shooters. Like so the goal is to essentially get a box, you pick it up, and you can't use your weapons while you're carrying this box, and you have to carry it to a, a pillar, and you got to put that box into the pillar, and that pillar's then a timer starts, and if that timer fills all the way before your opponents can remove the box, you get points, money, which is just points.
Okay.
Um, and then the longer that stays in the box, it you get more points. And like the goal is to get of the like your opponents is to come and steal that box. And I played a couple rounds and like I don't enjoy this. I just want to go shoot people. Like I just don't like I don't understand why the shooter genre got so specific in their game modes. Like why can't I just go kill it? Which everybody pretty much nobody really played the objective. They just went off and fought each other.
Mm-hmm.
But the maps are enormous. Like I feel that way when I play Fortnite or Apex. Like I'm running more often than I'm doing anything else. Like I'm just
Mm-hmm.
sprinting to try and find another weapon or a person to shoot, and you die and you gotta wait 20 seconds. Like I'm used to like the old Modern Warfare 3s, man, where the maps are super small and you just sprint, fight, die, respawn, sprint, fight, die, and that's you could die 20 times in 5 minutes if you wanted. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
playing a game like this or like Fortnite or Apex, I'm running for 5 minutes before I even find anybody.
Yeah.
I this is very much a me thing. Like I get it. People like these kinds of specific shooters. I don't. I won't be trying it another one again.
Yeah. It kind of seems like a Valorant type game to me.
Never played
Like
Valorant, so
it's, from what I've played, which is maybe like 2 rounds because I cannot play on mouse and keyboard.
right.
I just shooters, I can't do it. I don't know why. Um, it seems more like objective focused.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it's people who like that's all they play, so they know it so well that like they know like a spot where they can hang out at where they can get the objective and they can just pick people off right when they round a corner, and it's so like precise and planned out where it's kind of boring to
Yeah.
play, where the credit that I have to give to old school Call of Duty at least is that it was just chaos.
It
Like
was.
yeah, there was still people who would camp and stuff like that. But for the most part, the maps were small enough where you could just run. Like
Yep.
you run to where everybody else is, and it's just a massacre of people all shooting at each other. And you didn't have to be like that strategic about it. You could kind of just go in guns a-blazing and just have fun.
Yep.
And I think there's
I don't think these new, at least these free ones, haven't really captured that. Like the battle royale. I understand that
Mhm.
that's its own specific genre, and again, I don't like how specific these things have gotten. Which I
Mhm.
guess Fortnite isn't. I don't know if you've touched Fortnite at all lately. I haven't.
Not not in years.
Yeah, but I think Fortnite has many different game modes now. Like you could play team deathmatch. It's not just the battle royale stuff. And speaking of Fortnite, did you pick up on the fact that Fortnite is now like its own storefront for other games?
Really?
Yeah, so Lego Fortnite and
Oh yeah.
and Rocket Racing, I think is what it's called. Those are in Fortnite. You download Fortnite, you open up Fortnite, and you play Lego Fortnite in Fortnite, which is wild to me. And I guess the people that made Rock Band, Harmonix, I believe, made their own rhythm game in Fortnite.
What?
Yes. So Epic acquired Harmonix a couple years ago, I think. And yeah, so this is their first project they've done. I guess it's not great yet. Like you can only play on controller. You don't have like instruments, and the songs aren't that great. Like it's Kendrick Lamar and and stuff like that. But I mean, hopefully there's hope that you can get a new Guitar Hero or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I think on the subject of Guitar Hero, I think that there's a online guitar. I think it's called Clone Hero, and it's basically like you can use an old Guitar Hero controller on your PC, and people have uploaded like thousands of songs from different artists on there.
Okay.
So like you can just type in your favorite band on there, and there'll be a list of their songs that you can play.
Okay, so that exists.
Yeah, so I think I would probably I've definitely thought about doing that.
Yeah,
I don't think I would
just play that rather than download Fortnite and then
play Fortnite.
Play some Kendrick Lamar on your controller.
Yeah, something like I was thinking about during this conversation was like, I don't even know what I would describe Fortnite as anymore. Like when it started, it was a battle royale game. You know, it was a pretty simple concept, but now you can all of these things are encompassed in Fortnite now. I think they even have like an Among Us clone, basically.
Yep.
And like all these other games are going under like the Fortnite name, but it's like, is it still just a battle royale, or like is it a franchise now? I don't even really know.
I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be confusing for a lot of people. Like, oh, I heard about Lego Fortnite. Like, I want to play that, and like you have to go download Fortnite first, and then like I don't know. I might have to just like download it just to check it out, not actually play it.
Yeah,
but
just to check.
I mean, Lego Fortnite does. I like Lego, and I heard it's like a what was that survival game that came out a couple years ago that people really liked? Like you're building like cabins in the woods and stuff like that. I'm forgetting.
The forest?
No. Nope.
I don't
remember either. But a clone of that. So it's like a survival. You're trying to build houses and stuff like that. This was a very famous Valheim.
Oh yeah,
Valheim.
I never played that.
Me neither, but I've seen other people play it, and I guess it draws a close comparison to Valheim. So I don't know. I might check that out. That might be fun.
Okay.
Maybe I can get my kid to play with me, so I'm not completely nerdy on that one.
You're not just the 30-year-old playing Fortnite. Like, I have a kid.
Yeah, she's playing with me. Shut up. Yes, this is
your mom.
Yes, this is the Lego mode. Leave me alone. Well, let's see. We got 15 minutes. Do you want to try to break down the canceled Last of Us multiplayer project?
Yeah, we can try and keep that short.
We can do it.
So for those of you who don't know, um, The Last of Us, or Naughty Dog, has been working on a Last of Us standalone multiplayer game for the last few years, um, that a lot of people were excited for. I personally never really got into The Last of Us multiplayer. That was on the first game. Is very Gears of War ish, which is probably people will be mad at me for saying that, but um, and it kind of seems like it's not been in the best state the last few years.
Yeah.
So they first announced it in like 2021 or something. Um, and all they really said, they showed like a concept image, and they said, we'll have more for you next year. And we're like, okay. So the next year came and went. They were still like, yeah, we're working on it. We don't think it's ready for anyone to see yet. So they just kept on chugging. They released Last of Us Part 1 remake. They're releasing a Last of Us Part 2 remaster now. And people were still like, okay, where is this multiplayer game? And as of, I think, yesterday, that is officially canceled. They said I read some interview, I don't know if it was with Neil or somebody else at the studio, but they basically said like we were at a crossroads where it was like we can either uh focus on going towards a more like live service online studio.
I have the quote. Let me read that.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
is from naughtydog.com. In ramping up to full production, the massive scope of our ambition became clear. To release and support The Last of Us Online, we'd have to put all of our studio resources behind supporting post-launch content for years to come, severely impacting development on our future single-player games. So, we had two paths in front of us: become a solely live service game studio, or continue to focus on single-player narrative games that have defined Naughty Dog's heritage. End quote. Which is silly. That's silly to me. You didn't realize you would have to do that 4 years ago? And I think we talked about this last time, me and you, I can't remember if it was last week or episode before, where we hope they just like released just a good multiplayer game and then just left it at that. And you didn't have to support it for years to come. Like, I don't think that was super necessary.
Yeah, I hate this mentality now of if you do anything online, it has to be a full like live service system where you put out seasons of content and like everything goes into that now. When I think you could have just made now you don't even have to make it a standalone game. Make a multiplayer mode in the same kind of feel as factions from the original game.
Right.
Add it to the part 2 remaster and just maintain your servers.
Yeah.
Maybe once a year put up some like cosmetic DLC, like
Yeah.
like play as different characters or something like that, or add new guns to it. You don't have to take the Call of Duty route where everything's like a season and you have to add like a narrative story onto that.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I wouldn't
just make the mode.
think Naughty Dog is a small studio, right?
No.
They probably have several hundred people working there.
Yeah, at least.
It's weird to me that this decision comes now instead of several years ago. Like they can't have been very far into this to cancel it now. It's weird.
It sort of seems like an idea they had a few years ago that they got really excited about. Um, but when it came to actually executing it, it was like, well, this is not really turning out the way that we had hoped, but we're going to still keep trying. Um, and then, they're getting a few years away from the last major release from their studio with The Last of Us 2. And I think they're kind of getting to the point like, this is nowhere near ready. I think we maybe bit off more than we can chew with this. We need to think of what our next big release is going to be.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be this. Like, even if this turned out to be like the game that they had hoped, it was only going to, I think, reach a market of people who already play Last of Us games,
Mm-hmm.
and more specifically people who enjoyed the original Factions game, which I know is a lot of people, but if you're trying to reach like the full gaming community, that's not how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of other multiplayer games that are probably just more popular in a broader sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just confusing why they would do this now. Because Last of Us Part 3 is going to be their moneymaker. Like, that's going to be good.
Yeah.
Very popular, at least. So, I don't know. If this means Part 3 comes out faster, I guess I'm cool with it.
Yeah. I mean, I would love that. I hope that there's been work done on that and it hasn't all been focused on the multiplayer game. Because then it kind of means that they're starting at square one with Part 3, and it's going to be several years before we see anything on it.
Well, the messaging of this makes it sound like they haven't put much time into it.
Yeah.
Maybe they just have a small part of their studio working on that while everyone else is working on Part 3, and they just kind of hit a point where, I don't know, maybe they're trying to ramp up Part 3 and they just needed to cut the online so that they can push a 2025 release date for Part 3. That would be my guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I would guess that they've probably had a small group of people sort of doing the initial work on it, like not even in the design phase, more of just like the writing or like the planning phase for it. And I would bet probably like 2026 at the earliest
Really?
we get an actual release. Yeah, I don't think it's because there was 7 years between Part 1 and Part 2.
How many Uncharted games though? 1, 2?
1.
And the little DLC.
Yeah.
That I'm forgetting the name of.
Lost Legacy.
Lost Legacy. So, I mean, Uncharted 4 wasn't a small game, so. But
No, you're right. That was
a
very big game.
Games are getting harder and harder to make now. And I was trying to think earlier. The video game industry is so unique, and I feel like not much research, I don't know if that's the right word, has been done on it, where they only release a product like once every 5 years. So they don't, especially a thing like Naughty Dog doesn't make a lot of money in between big releases. They've done their remasters, so I'm sure that supported it a little bit. But I think that's why they wanted this online thing, is to make maybe just some more consistent money, whereas somebody like Bungie or who does Apex? Is that Bethesda? No. Respawn.
Yeah.
So that's consistent money for EA right there. So it's got to be very difficult to plan, coordinate all that money to make sure you can staff hundreds of people for the next 5 years while your company doesn't make any money, or at least not a lot. I doubt either of these remakes are gonna come or even gonna touch the amount of money that Part 3 would make.
Yeah.
So it's got to be so difficult for these guys to make these decisions and like how to do that. Like I feel bad for their accountants.
Yeah.
They're probably like, guys, we're out of money. And they're like, well, we need to hire more people. I'm like, oh God. But I don't really know where my brain's going with this one, but it's our industry is so unique in that way. Like what other thing releases something once every 5 years and doesn't make any money between that? I was thinking like movies, definitely not. It doesn't take 5 years to make a movie. Theme parks, but I mean, they make money every day. Like you release it and they make money for years. It's not like video game. I don't know. I feel like it's pretty unique.
Yeah, I think, and that's something that I didn't really consider, especially in terms of Naughty Dog, is like, I'm sure with their flagship games like Uncharted 4 and Last of Us, like they're selling millions of copies of those, so they're probably realistically bringing in, 8 to 9 or 7 to 8 figures, or what? No, that's more than that. I don't know. They're bringing in like
a lot of money,
tens to hundreds of millions of dollars with that.
Yeah.
So that definitely like helps out for the next few years. But you're right. Like, when games take 5, 6, 7 years to make, you have to pay people for that entire time. And are you just kind of going through the money you made on the previous game?
Yeah, I mean, where else are you getting money?
Yeah.
Unless you have like an ongoing game, which Cyberpunk is not. But yeah, you don't, and not many people have that luxury to have an ongoing game and work on their other stuff. CD Projekt Red has an ongoing game with their online Gwent. Like maybe you could have nominated that.
Yeah,
but I don't know much about that. So that makes them at least some money, whereas Naughty Dog doesn't have that. That's why we're getting Last of Us Part 2 3 years after it launched or whatever, remastered. But I think that's comes back to why there's so many layoffs in this industry, especially after 2020, when COVID hit and the video game industry just boomed. Because everybody was staying at home and playing video games all day and spending money on them all day. And now, since then, like people are having to go back to work and not being able to play video games all day. So in 2021 and 2022, I think maybe these corpos got a little ambitious, hired too many people, had too ambitious of plans. And by 2023, like they were starting to tank. In which I will never support billionaires over just, working people. But I think that's why that's happening. They saw their bottom line getting a little too small. So they had to cut all these people to make it work.
Which it makes me wonder, like, has it always been like this in the game industry, or just the last like 10 years? Has it been constantly like building up your teams, and then when the game releases, it's like, okay, well, we don't have anything for you to do right now, so
yeah, I would feel like it's definitely a newer thing because games weren't this expensive to make. They didn't have full motion capture with full FMV cutscenes and all this stuff. Like Last of Us is an extremely expensive game to make and stuff like that. Whereas, the very first Uncharted probably didn't cost that much money. To them, not to us.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, unfortunately, we do need to stop. But that's my thoughts on corporate America.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Eat the rich.
Elon sucks. Okay. All right. Well, Jake, get us out of here, and I gotta go pick up my kid from school.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. You can find me over at the YouTube channel Gooba and Jetpack. You can find Justin over at Justin Games, and you can find us in the next episode sometime.
Nice.
So,
nice. I like that.
And as always, keep on gaming.
Pew pew. Bye, everyone.